been brought to you by Squarespace. I'm just kidding. I'm not cool enough to be sponsored yet. We're getting there. Welcome to the RF 50mm 1.2 Canon lens review. Oh yeah. What up, y'all? I'm back with another quick lens review. This is the Canon 50mm 1.2 RF series lens. Jumping right in, the first thing you guys need to know about these lenses is that the RF lenses are only for the R series Canon cameras. So if you don't have a Canon EOS R or an RP, or if you're not planning on getting the Pro version, whenever that comes out, this lens is not going to work for you. You cannot use the RF lenses on an EF system, but you can use an EF lens on an RF system. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about this lens. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to Canon for sending me over this lens to test out. It's a beautiful lens. The pictures are sharp, they look beautiful, it performed wonderfully, and I'm definitely not going to buy it. Great, good review. I'm just kidding. Not about buying the lens, about the review being over. It's definitely not over yet. I am certainly not buying this lens. Now, let's talk about why. This lens is everything that you could possibly want a 50mm to be. It is amazing. The focus is so smooth and so quiet, you can actually customize within the camera body how quickly you want this ring to focus. And if you listen, it's smooth and quiet, and it performs exactly the same way on your camera. It also comes with this beautiful control ring, and it has this really satisfying clicking noise when you turn it. You guys down for some Canon lens ASMR? Let's do it. Just gonna bring this right down here. Right. Enough of that. The control ring you can customize to do whatever you want. If you want to change your aperture, you can do that. If you want to change your ISO with it, you can do that. If you want to program your camera to look at pictures of Baby Yoda whenever you turn the thing, you can do that. It's all whatever you want it to be. I'm absolutely loving the fact that you can customize these lenses and they work beautifully. The main thing that I love about this lens is its optics. This thing goes down to 1.2 and it works like a freaking dream. I'm not gonna be testing a prime lens without actually taking it into a really low light situation and seeing how it performs. So to test it out, I went over to Universal Studios for Grinchmas. I took some low light photos in some really weird lighting situation. I also took a lot of video, and well, let's see how it turned out. Even without image stabilization, this lens still performed pretty well. I got really good usable video, I got really good pictures, and mostly using my EOS R's autofocus. I let the camera do the work, put this thing on 1.2, and well, I mean, basically you don't even have to do anything, you just gotta click a button. Now let's get real. I had a wonderful time with this lens. It feels premium, it looks premium, it takes premium photos. When you go up above f1.8 to like f3, the photos are tack sharp. It's everything that you want in a lens. It's basically perfect. It's also $2,000. For me personally, when I'm taking pictures at events or portraits, I like to be in the action, or I like to see all of the action. What this lens does is it kind of gives you a little bit of a snapshot of what's kind of happening. I'm not really a fan of 50mm in general. I often found myself either really having to step back of the situation or really having to go forward. I wasn't ever quite where I wanted to be because the lens was restricting me from doing so. All right, calm down all you photographer dorks. I could hear you all saying, well, the point of having a prime lens is it makes you have to think outside the box. Be creative. Don't rely on the zoom to make sure everything works out the way it does. You have to move around. Be creative as a photographer. If you're not getting good pictures with it, you're probably just using it wrong. Okay, calm down, all right? I'm not saying you can't get great pictures with this thing, because you absolutely can. I'm saying if I'm gonna spend $2,000 on a lens, I need to make sure that I could use that lens in any situation at any point in time. This lens for me does not do that. Even buying something like the RF 85mm 1.2, at least it gets you right in the action. This lens, in my opinion, is having a bit of an identity crisis. For my style, I would much prefer to stay around 15 to 35 or 70 to 200. That little middle ground for me just doesn't really do it. But if you're looking for a general lens, if you're shooting events and you just want basic general photos of all the people and all of the surroundings, this lens really does do the job. It's fast, it works amazing in low light. Its build quality is really durable, really strong. It feels good in the hand. It looks good on the camera. Everything on paper is perfect about this lens. And if you like the 50mm, great. What I recommend, if you've never used a 50mm before, go out there and buy yourself a nifty 50. Get a really cheap 50mm and play with it for a while. I started with a 50mm $100 lens back 10 years ago when I first started taking pictures, and I used it for everything. And maybe part of the reason that my pictures sucked. I don't mean to throw shade at 50mm. I love it, but $2,000 for a prime lens without image stabilization, it's just gonna be a no-go for me. As always, I put some of the raw photos from the 50mm down in the description below. If you guys want to download them, that's awesome. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. We'll see you in the next one. This video has been brought to you by Squarespace. I'm just kidding. It's not. I'm not cool enough to be sponsored yet.